Good afternoon. Welcome to Yoga for Golf. Yoga's Arc wants you to put your health first. Yoga is an activity that requires physical exertion. Please ensure that you are in proper physical shape to do yoga. And if you are unsure or have an existing medical condition, please consult your physician before beginning any sort of yoga regimen. If this is your first class with me for Yoga for Golf, welcome. If you're a repeat offender, I'm so happy to have you back. Today we're going to really be working on ground reaction forces, so I hope that we're ready for that in our golf game. Let's go ahead and get started. Today what I'd like you to have is some water, a golf club if you happen to have one with you. It's nice for balancing. You can put the bottom part of the golf club down and grab the club part for any balancing postures that we might be working on today. The other thing I'd like you to have is a block. If you do not have an actual yoga block, just a book that's about the same size will be just fine. Something lighter is probably better, just in case we need to move it around a little bit. But let's go ahead and get started. Let's come up to the center of the mat. I always like to do an assessment to start my class that we'll do at the beginning of class as well at the end of class, so that we can really get a feel for how the work that we do throughout our yoga class feels in our body from beginning to end. So what I'd like you to do is just come to the center of your mat, feet are about hip width apart. Let's just bring your hands straight out in front of you. And I'd like you to start with your right hand, and I'd just like you to take it behind you, take your eye gaze behind you, and then come back. And then I'd like you to take a notice to how far that arm is going. Just pick a reference point behind you here and see how that feels. Nothing too vigorous here, we're just seeing how we feel at the beginning of class. Let's do one more here on the right. And now let's just switch to the left. Just taking that arm around, taking the eye gaze with it. Let me get a sense and a feel for how open you are in your thoracic spine, how it's feeling, where it's tight, where it feels especially good. Let's do one more. Great. Let's come down onto our knees for our second assessment. We're going to come into a child's pose with our knees about hip width apart here, toes are together, and I'd like you to just come down on your right forearm. So the forearm's going to be right in front of you. The left hand is going to come right behind the head, and we're just going to rotate up. See how high the tip of the elbow can come up towards the ceiling? And just take a note of where that is. Let's do 2 or 3 here. Get a good note about how high that elbow tip is coming. And let's switch sides. Left arm across the front here, right arm behind the head, and we rotate open. Take a note of where the elbow tip is coming up on this right side. You may notice from right to left that one is more open than the other. Let's do one more. And let's let that go. So take a note of how that felt in your body, and we'll do those at the end of class just to get a baseline of how we feel from beginning to end. Let's start with some breathing. Breathing is key in yoga for golf. When we are on the golf course, we definitely want to make sure that our breath is in line with everything that we're doing when we address and when we swing the club. This can be essential for getting as much power as we can get into really getting that optimal operation throughout our body, throughout our swing. So let's just start with some breath practice. Let's come onto our backs, lay it flat, and I'd like you to bring your hands as high up overhead as you can, and if you can get opposite elbows, let's get it. Extend both legs long. And I'd like you to start with big belly breaths here. You almost want to feel the middle of your spine here pulling up off the mat, almost like you can really get your hand all the way underneath. And then on your exhales, I want you to push the small of your back down into the mat. So big inhales in, push up, exhale, push the small of your back down. You'll start to notice that there's almost a canister effect here with your rib cage pulling down towards the top of your hips here as you're squeezing the small of your back down into the mat. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, pull down. Let's do a couple more here. Really lifting the small of the back up, pushing it down. Now, let's let that go. Let's get a little motion here. Let's plant our feet. And let's start to warm up the hips a little bit with matching our breath to the movement. We're going to come into a bridge posture. So on an inhale, we're going to bring the arms up at the same time. We're going to raise our seat, and then exhale, come back down. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, we come back down. Inhale, rise. Squeeze the glutes here. Get a little warmth going right underneath. Exhale, back down. Let's do 3 more. Let's let that go. Let's bring the right knee into the chest, interlace the fingers right on the front of the shin, and extend this left leg long. On an inhale, we're going to really push the knee up into the chest, and then on the exhale, let it go. Inhale, pull in. Exhale, let it go. Compressing the psoas muscle here, that's so key for our rotation for our hips through our golf swing. So we're trying to warm it up a little bit, get some compression here, and then some release. Do a couple more. And let's let that go. Let's keep the right leg up here, and what I'd like you to do is just have your right hand right on your right shin. This time we're going to start with some rotational movement, starting to get a little bit more into that transverse plane that we so need in our golf swing. So on an inhale, I want you to pull your knee up into your shoulder, and then on the exhale, pull the knee across into just a slight twist with the opposite hand. Pull the knee up into the shoulder, pull the knee across. Starting to get this rotation here. This is our golf swing here. We're starting up on the back swing and then coming down on the downswing as we're twisting across. Getting a little bit of breath work here. Continue to move. Let's do 1 more. Let's let that right side go. Left leg. Interlace the fingers on the left shin. Start to pull the knee up into the shoulder and then let it relax away, pulling the elbows straight. You can play a little bit here. Maybe you do an inhale on the pull in, exhale, pull out, or maybe you do the opposite. Inhale on the pull out, exhale on the pull in. You can play with your breath a little bit and see how that feels. Compressing the psoas muscle here on the left side. Let's do 1 final. Let's let that right hand go. Now we're going to cross. With the left hand, pull the knee up into the left shoulder, then switch hands, gentle twist. Pull the knee up into the shoulder, switch hands, gentle twist. If you're a left-handed golfer, this is your golf swing right here. Otherwise, in yoga, we always do everything on both sides so that we have nice equal balance. So one thing about our golf swing, we're always moving in the same direction so we can develop imbalances in our body. Super key to make sure that we're using both sides of the body. Let's do 1 final one here. Pull across. And then just let that go. Let's plant our feet. What I'd like you to do is bring this left leg up towards the sky. Extend the right leg. And I'd just like you to let that left leg come down. Inner part of the knee just down on the ground. Left hand behind the head, right arm extends out. I'm going to work once again on the breath and working some thoracic rotation here. So on an inhale, we're going to pull the elbow back behind us, pulling that shoulder blade down. Exhale, we crunch back. Inhale, we open. Exhale, we come back. Keeping this knee solid on the ground here. Don't let it come up. Keep it down on the ground. So only come as far back as you can open up with your thoracic spine. Let's do 2 more here. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. And let's switch sides. You'll be able to see me from the back here. So left leg is long, right leg comes up towards the ceiling. Let that right leg come across inner part of the knee, resting on the other side. Left hand right behind the head. Excuse me, right hand right behind the head. Inhale, we open, and we're really trying to pull the shoulder blade down towards the mat. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Final one. Let that go. Come back onto your backs. Just get some windshield wipes from side to side, so knees going right and left. Just starting to warm up the hips a little more. The next time your knees are to the right, let them stay there. Bring that right foot on top of the left leg and just let it hang. Opening up this left hip a little bit, so key to open up this psoas muscle. Got to have nice open hips in order to really get our hips to work in an optimal form to get our rotation all the way around. We want that optimal rotation through our hips so that we're not developing compensations in our upper body and our thoracic spine. Let's let that right foot go. Swing the legs a couple more times and then let them fall to the left. Left ankle on top of the right knee. Let the right hip open up here. Feel the stretch across the front. Let the left ankle go. Bring the knees back to center. Slowly roll over to the right side. We're just going to start to push ourselves up to come up into a seated position. Let's work a little bit on core here. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on some Pilates 100s here. So let me show you from the side here, it might be easier to see. So we're going to be upright here, and we're going to bring our legs up off the ground. We're going to bring our arms out right beside us here, so both arms right below the knees, and we're just going to start to pump. Almost just like you're tapping water just right on top, just enough to get a bare, small ripple across the front of the water. So holding it there. Keep that core nice and tight. We're really working on these inner muscles here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let that go. Let's come back down onto our backs. Let's work a little bit more on our bridge posture. So we did the bridge to warm up here, starting to get the glutes activated. Let's do a little bit more with glute strength here. So often, especially those of us that sit all day for work, our glutes are lengthened and they're very weak. So we want to make sure that we're concentrating on this backside to strengthen our glutes. So let's come up into the bridge position. So hands down on the ground. And I'd like you to just come up and squeeze your glutes. Now I'd like you to bring that right leg up off the ground and just hold it there. Now let's see if we can pump that right leg up and down. Keeping your hips right in line, not letting that left leg fall. We've got this. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let that go. Let's let everything go here. Take a little relax, take a breather. Maybe get some more windshield wipes here. Let's move to the other side. So let's come back up. This time we're going to plant through our right leg, bring that left leg up. Start here first. Really push into the ground here. I want you to feel as if you're pushing about 3 feet below your mat with that right foot. Now let's start to pump the left leg up and down. You can even point the toes as it comes down, pull the toes back as it comes up. Working on some ankle flexibility here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's let that come down. Let's bring the knees up into the chest. Let's roll back over to the right side. Let's come all the way up. Let's come into a tabletop position. So our tabletop position here, Knees are right underneath the hips. Knees are about hip width apart. Shoulders are right over the top of the wrists. Fingers are nice and wide here. I can just get a rock from side to side. Tops of the feet are just relaxed back. Now let's start to work on some cat-cows. Cat-cows in yoga, we typically drop the belly down and then we arch the back for our cow. So we're coming up and then we're rounding. We're matching the breath here. So on an inhale, we drop the belly. Eye gaze goes slightly up. Exhale, round the spine. Eye gaze goes down. Try a few on your own here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, we look up. Exhale, we look down. Let's do a couple more here on our own. Let's come back to neutral spine. Now you can see here I'm not too far down, I'm not too far around it. I'm kind of right in the center here. What I'd like to think about here is starting to segment our cat-cow. So one of the key things with Yoga for Golf is we want to make sure that we're moving our hips independently from our shoulders. We need to get rotation moving here before we get rotation in the upper body. So we want to train in that way. So now let's think about keeping the upper body, everything from about your mid-rib cage all the way up, completely still. And what I'd like you to do is just see if you can do the cat-cows just at your hips. You're really going to feel these transverse abdominis really turning on right here as you're doing that, so be prepared to feel it there. And just let the belly drop. And then just see if you can round just in that low back, keeping the upper body nice and still. Keep the same breath. So inhale, drop the belly down. Exhale, see if you can round the small of your back. Your upper body stays still. All your motion here is right at the hips. Really firing up the transverse abdominis. Let's do one more. Inhale. Exhale. Let's let that go. Let the tension come out a little bit. Maybe find some nice big hip circles here. Sit back on the heels. Rotate. Go both directions. Let's come back. Let's do the second cat-cow, but this time we're just going to try to move from that same spot here at our rib cage forward, and we're going to keep the lower half nice and still this time. So it's a very small movement, and this can be difficult. It takes practice, so don't be too discouraged. If you don't feel like you're doing it quite right, it does take some practice. So on an inhale, we're going to try to keep that lower half nice and still. We're going to drop the chest down, and then on the inhale, we're going to round through the shoulder blades here. Inhale, drop the chest. Exhale, round the shoulder blades. Takes a lot of practice. I'm not sure I've mastered it quite yet, but I'm working on it. That's why we do a yoga practice. It's not a perfect. We're always just moving towards that next level of movement. Let's do one more. Drop the chest down and then round. Nice. Let's let that go. Let's go ahead and get our yoga block or our book, whatever we may have. And what I'd like you to do is stick it right between your legs. So we're going to still be in this tabletop position, but as you can see here, I'm going to have the yoga block just right in between my legs here, really squeezing my inner thighs. I'll do it from the side here so we can see what we're doing. So keeping that activation on the inner thighs, let's bring the left hand towards the center of the mat, and your right arm is going to come up behind your head, working on some more rotation here. Inhale, let's rotate up, just like we did in our initial assessment, exhale down, except for now we're in a little bit higher position here. Keeping that lower body nice and still, we're working on moving the thoracic spine independently from the lower half, from our hips. Let's do one more on this side. Let that go. Now we're going to move to the other side. Keep the lower half engaged here. Left hand on the back of the head. Left elbow is going to come up on an inhale. Exhale back down. Inhale, open. Exhale down. Inhale, open. Exhale down. Do a few more here. Final one. Let that go. Now we're going to keep the block between our legs, and I want us to just come lay flat on the belly. So keep the block here. I want you to keep squeezing the block between the legs. We're going to come into a modified cobra position, so we're going to keep our hands just right underneath our shoulders. We're going to keep the tops of the feet right on the mat, and we're really going to activate through the lower half. So you're going to be squeezing your inner thighs and squeezing the front of your quads, the front of the legs. On an inhale, you're looking down. We're almost going to feel like we're sliding a marble forward with our nose, coming up, lifting the chest, really engage, and then exhale, we come back down and we pull the marble back in. Inhale, pull that marble away, bring the chest up, very little weight in the hands. Exhale, come back down. Inhale, we come up, really pull the chest towards the front of the mat. Exhale, back down. We'll do one more. Inhale, roll that marble away, pull the chest up in front of the mat a little further, and then release. Let that go. Working on our posterior chain here and our low back strength. Let's go ahead and let that go. Take the block out from underneath the knees. If you have the space, just push back into a child's pose, extend the arms. Maybe the elbows are bent. And just take a quick breath here. Slowly start to come up. We always want to work on our low backs. Low back is a chronic problem with a lot of golfers. So making sure that you're adding something into your fitness program that works on strengthening your low back is essential for keeping your body nice and healthy. Let's go ahead and come up to standing. And we're going to go ahead and start to work on a little bit of ground reaction force. The more that we can learn to harness the ground and the energy that the ground has, the stronger our golf swing will be. So if we think about the kinetic chain, we're always starting, when we're starting in our golf swing, it starts in this right foot, if we're right-handed. As we come up and we're coming into our backswing, that energy travels all the way up into our backswing. And then as we're starting to come into our swing, into the downswing, the same sort of reaction starts again. It starts back up into the foot. We start to come down, we start to shift our weight, coming all the way through into that left side, and then getting the rotation all the way through. So learning how to harness your ground reaction forces and really ground your feet down and not let yourself become really light in the feet can help tremendously with your distance and power. So let's work on a couple of things to work on those ground reaction forces. Let's come up to the top of the mat. What I'd like you to do is just take a step back with this right foot. Now the right foot is going to turn at a little bit of an angle here. You can see I'm about 45 degrees or so. I'll do this from the side. And your left toes are going to be pointing forward. We're going to bend into this left knee. So what I'd like you to do is just work on a little bit here, just coming forward and back, bending and straightening. Thinking about our ankle mobility here, not only our ground reaction forces, but our ankle mobility is key. If we can't move our ankles, it's really hard to really harness those reactions if our feet aren't working in an optimal way. So we want to make sure that we're really working on our foot function as much as we're working on the rest of our body, because everything starts at our feet and works its way up. Let's go ahead and dip down into that knee. Let's extend our arms here. So what we're going to do is we're going to come from triangle pose, or from warrior two here, into a triangle pose. So we're going to harness here, we're going to bend, and then we're going to really pull our arms in. I want you to think about twisting your heels inward towards each other. They're not going to physically move, but I want that to be your action, really tightening up the center thigh, and then extend back out. So inhale, we pull in, pull our heels together, straighten the legs. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, pull in. Exhale, let it go. Let's keep our arms here. Now we're going to do a little bit different action with our arms. So same action in the legs. We're going to inhale. We're going to come back, straightening the legs. Extend that left arm up. And then exhale, we're going to bend back into warrior two. So this is a reverse triangle. Inhale, pull together. Left arm goes up. Exhale, we extend back out. Inhale, pull in. Exhale, extend back out. Inhale, pull in. Exhale, extend back out. Nice job. Now let's bring that left elbow down. Right arm comes up. Inhale, stretch nice and long. Exhale, let's rotate to touch the inner part of the left ankle. Inhale, we come back up. Working on our rotation once again. Inhale, we open up. Now as we exhale, think about that canister squeezing through our rib cage here. We're going to really compress the top of the rib cage down into the hips. So inhale, we open. Exhale, we squeeze. We really feel some warmth here in the center part of our body as we're using that intra-abdominal pressure to help us practice to harness our strength. Let's do one more here. Let's come back up and let's step forward to the top of the mat. Let's move to the other side. Just going to switch sides here. So this time, left leg goes back. You can see that foot here. For some people, your toes might be pointing straight out directly to the side. For some, maybe your hips, you can come a little bit more at a 45-degree angle. I'm more concerned with what feels good in your body. So go till you can get a good, comfortable position where both feet are flat on the ground. Let's just start with that movement. Dipping into that front foot. Here you can see my knee is driving further away from my toes. So I'm not just keeping my knees right in line with the ankle. We hear that all the time in yoga, but we need to work our foot flexion. So we really need to come into the ankle, let that knee go. We need to strengthen those muscles. Every time we walk downstairs, our knee goes beyond our ankle. So don't get so stuck in thinking that your knee can't go beyond your ankle. There's a lot of positive things that can be had in your body to working different planes of motion. Let's come back into warrior two, so extend the arms out. And let's start first. Inhale, pull the legs together, straighten that front leg. Exhale, we extend back out, bending that front leg. Think about rotating the ankles in once again, really activating the inner thighs here. Ground force reactions. We're pushing into the ground. I want you to feel like you're pushing about 3 feet below your mat here. Really getting that solidness, like nothing could move you from this particular position. You're so solid in your feet. Let's do one more here. Let's rotate out. Now let's move the arms. So we're still going to do the same action in our legs. On an inhale, pull the legs together. Right arm goes up, left arm goes down. Exhale, back out into warrior two. Inhale, pull the legs together. Extend out into reverse triangle. Exhale, back out. Inhale, pull the legs together. Exhale, back out. Inhale, pull the legs together. Final one here, really ground down. Exhale, back out. Let's rotate that right elbow down, left arm up. Canister here. Think about using the intra-abdominal pressure. Inhale, we open. Exhale, we squeeze that canister. Inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze. One final one. Now, let's come up. Let's let that go. What I'd like you to do is, if you have your golf club, I'd like you to take your address position. So whatever position you would normally be in here, Find that stance wherever your feet would go. And I just really want you to feel how much more grounded you feel in your feet after doing those little bit of exercises that are really grounding us down. If you have the space, maybe you take a small swing here and just really feel how that feels in your feet to push down through the earth to harness that energy as we're coming through. Go ahead and put that down. Let's go ahead and just work on a little bit of balance. Just some real easy things here. What I'd like you to do is just at the center of your mat, float that right leg up. So we're going to hold it here. Here we're working on some hip flexor strength. So we need some flexibility here, but we also need strength. A lot of times, inflexibility means little strength. So the more we can strengthen, the more flexibility we will have. So let's keep this right leg up. I'd like you to grab the front of that right shin and pull that knee out. Show it here from the front. So we've got this knee up, and we pull it out, extend the left arm. Maybe that eye gaze goes. If that's too much, maybe we use the golf club here for our balance. We always want to start where we can actually do the postures. We don't want to be falling all over the place trying to do everything perfectly the first time we're trying to do a new exercise. So make sure you're using your props here. Let's come back to center. I like to extend my leg here. Extend my arms up. Keep the golf club if you need. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release, let that come down. Let's do the other side. So left leg floats up. Just want to hold it here for a few seconds. Harnessing that strength. If we can hold this up for a full minute, then you know you've got a lot of strength in your hip flexor. If you're struggling with 5 or 10 seconds, then work on this. Hold this leg up here. It's also working on balance here, really working on those feet. Let's bring the left hand to the front of the shin. Start to pull that left leg out. Maybe the right arm extends. Maybe you just keep the golf club there to keep your balance. Nice big breaths here. Let's come back to center. Extend that leg out. 5, 4,
I'm not sure.
3, 2, 1. Release. Let that go. Let's let that club come down. What I'd like you to do is just take your arms straight up. We're going to come into our forward fold, but we're going to really work on extending ourselves up. So I want you to think about reaching up towards the ceiling, and then I want you to start to round with that length. Keep the length in the spine as you come all the way down. Keep that length, keep the length. Bend your knees if you need. And then let that go. Once you're down, grab opposite elbows and just hang here for a moment. Let's release that down. Let's take our yoga block. Let's just sit directly on our yoga block. Feet positions, you can have them in any way that feels comfortable for you. Maybe your heels are together like this. Maybe your legs are crossed. Either way, I'm good. Just want a nice, comfortable position for you. This may be uncomfortable to sit like this, so maybe you need to sit with your legs straight out as well. Let's bring our arms out to the side, and I'd really like you to think about keeping your spine as straight as you can. And on an inhale, we're really going to push our chest up as we keep our spine straight. And then on the exhale, I want you to really push into your arms, almost as if you've got them against a wall behind you. In fact, if you have a wall you can sit up against, then I would recommend doing that. Really push here. Inhale, we stretch up. Exhale, we push into that wall. Really working on some upper body here. A lot of us have a C posture here where we're really kyphotic. We've got our shoulders rolling forward. That can be a tremendous challenge for our golf swing. So here we're pulling our shoulders back and down. We've got our arms out. Inhale, we're pulling our chest forward. Exhale, we're pushing our arms as if the wall is right behind us here. Let's do a few more breaths. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Let's let that go. Now let's do some cactus arms. Keeping the cactus arms here. On an inhale, I want you to just glide the arms up and then glide the arms back down on the exhale. So inhale, come up. Exhale. Keep the elbows right in line with the shoulder here, so if you start to feel your arms coming forward, stop. Even if that means you only go this far and then back down. If you can go all the way up and you can keep the elbows there, I can see my elbows coming in so I don't go all the way up. Inhale, and then exhale. Should feel your shoulder blades burning here. Let that go. Let's roll out the shoulders here. Big shoulder rolls. Let that go. Let's go and release from the block. Let's come down onto our backs. Let's pull the right leg up. Let's get a hamstring stretch here. We're going to stretch the back side and then the front side. Let's get a gentle twist, bend the leg and pull that left leg across. Maybe it's a little deeper than the initial warm-up that we did. Let's come back to center. Left leg is up. Pull the left leg across. Let's come back to center. Let's go ahead and close our eyes. Let's bring the hands back up overhead just like we did in the very beginning. Big inhale in, exhale, pulling the spine down. See how that feels different here with this breath. I'd like you to close your eyes. I just want you to envision your favorite hole on your favorite golf course. Maybe it's a short hole here. Maybe it's a par 3. I just want you to imagine the tee, your tee shot here, feeling that perfect shot, feeling in your body complete relaxation as you hit the shot. Your breath is even. And then once you've hit off that tee shot, no matter where it's landed, we're moving up to that second shot. We're taking the club that we need. We have clear mental capacity here for what we want to do. We're calm in our body, our breath is even. And we take that second shot. Maybe it goes in on that second shot. Maybe you have one final putt. And of course that putt goes in. Just let the arms go here. You can always take as much time in our final resting postures as you'd like. I'd like us to end though with coming back to our initial assessments that we did here, the 2 assessments, just so we can see how our body feels. Let's come back into our child's pose here. Knees are about mat width apart or so. We come forward. Let's bring that right arm across the front, left arm on the back. And let's start to rotate open and take a moment to remember where that left elbow went and see if it's any higher. I feel so much looser in my thoracic spine right now. Let's switch sides, other side. Left arm across, right arm behind. Start rotating open. Is that elbow coming up higher? Nice. Let's let that go. Let's come back up to standing for the final one. We got our feet about hip width apart, arms straight out. Let's rotate that right arm back. About 20% further now. After I've done my class, go almost all the way around, which is nice. Nice and open in the thoracic spine. Switch to the other side. My right side's definitely better than my left, but there is improvement on my left side as well. I'd like to thank you you all for joining me today. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. I will be uploading some more yoga for golf, so be on the lookout for that. Thank you so much. Namaste.